What do you say to those who are wondering if you're trying to create a third Obama term?
This is not a third Obama term because we face a totally different world than we faced in the Obama-Biden administration. President Trump has changed the landscape. It's become America first, which meant America alone. That's why I found people who joined the administration in key points that represent the spectrum of the American people as well as the spectrum of the Democratic Party.
The head of the GSA yesterday unlocked the mechanisms for there to be a formal transition of power. Are people talking right now who weren't talking yesterday?
Yes. Immediately, we've gotten outreach from the national security shop, to just across the board. So I think we're going to not be so far behind the curve as we thought we might be in the past. And I must say, the outreach has been sincere. It's not been begrudging so far, and I don't expect it to be.
Have you had any conversations with President Trump post-election about paving the way for this transition to happen?
No, I believe that his chief of staff and my chief of staff have spoken, but no, I have not heard anything from President Trump.
What was the moment when you heard that you were projected?
I was confident we were going to win this election. I really was. People are really, 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 really worried and concerned. And they want something done, both sides. And after 30 lawsuits were thrown out in rapid succession, I was convinced it was just a matter of time. And that's why I've decided just to move on as if I were the nominee and do the business I would do within my power from the day the election occurred.
You decided to act like you own it.
Yeah, I mean, because I believe we did, and I think it's important to send the message of confidence and surety and let people know what I will do. And I truly believe that I can unite this country. I think the country is so hungry for it, including a lot of Republicans.
Well, thank you very much.
President Trump is very clear that if he lost, he would do some of the very mechanisms we've seen him do. You heard that talk. Did you plan for it?
I didn't expect it to go smoothly, but I was confident, and I really mean this, that the American people are going to show up. The American people were not going to be silenced. I was not surprised by the response of the president himself.
The day you take office, there could be 2, maybe 3 vaccines out there.
Yes.
How will it roll out? Who will determine the order of recipients?
Well, first of all, allegedly I don't mean that in an accusatory way. Allegedly, the administration has set up a rollout how they think it should occur, what will be available, when, and how. And we'll look at that, and we may alter that. We may keep the exact same outline, but that's in train now. We haven't gotten that briefing yet. I think we should be focusing on, obviously, the docs, the nurses, those people who are the first responders. I think we should also be focusing on being able to open schools as rapidly as we can. I think it can be done safely. So there's a lot to work out in the next 2 months as to exactly how it will be distributed. Now, maybe the hope is we can actually begin to distribute it. This administration can begin to distribute it before we are sworn in and take office.
You've got schools closed right now in places where restaurants are open. Are our priorities correct?
I think we should be able to do both. But look, I'm very concerned about the schools. When children are out of school, no matter what their background is, for more than essentially a semester, they find themselves falling back much more than a semester. Some falling back beyond that. And it's hard to catch back up.
Some Democrats want investigations to go forward against President Trump after he leaves office. Do you support that?
I will not do what this president does and use the Justice Department as my vehicle to insist that something happen. But I'm focused on getting the American public back at a place where they have some certainty, some surety, some knowledge that they can make it. That's my focus.
President-elect Biden also told me that a Republican who supported President Trump could be on the list to serve in his administration. But if people are looking to have Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren on that list, as Democrats, of course, they may be waiting a while. He said he needs forceful leaders of the Senate and the House to help get his agenda passed. And taking anyone from the Capitol will be a difficult decision. Clearly a political calculation here, guys.
All right, Lester, you covered lots of ground there. More of that conversation with the president-elect tonight on NBC Nightly News.